Hello! Welcome to the finale. I hope you're excited. We've got 6 more games to talk about, and they are the 6 most exciting games. Not that all these games aren't exciting, if you can't tell from the last video, but these are the most exciting. And there's gonna be a whole lot of places that we still have to go to, so enjoy. The last one may have been all Kirby and Zelda. I know there were like 3 Zeldas in a row at the end of the second episode? Did I just give you like 4 Kirby games in a row or something? Oh, I don't know, that last one might have been all Kirby and Zelda. But, keep your eyes peeled for some things that are not Kirby or Zelda, because number 6 is Leightons Mystery Journey, Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy. I think that's the full name. I think post-Leighton is Leighton's Mystery Journey, because it's not Leighton, it's Catriel Leighton. And then I think the game is called Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy. Anyhow, this is one of my absolute favorite games of the year. I have never played a Leighton game. I've hardly played visual novels. I didn't play any Phoenix Wright games as a kid. I just totally missed the boat on this. But one of the funny things I thought last year was like, man, once I finish, playing every Zelda game, I'm gonna be a Leighton fan. Or once I finish my whole backlog of games from my childhood that I've been tearing through, I'm gonna become a Leighton fan. But I couldn't stop myself. I've had my eye on this game since 2017 because I like Catriel so much. I think she's the coolest character. And I've just thought that ever since I saw this. I don't know a lot about Leighton fandom. I've picked up bits and pieces. Seems like a lot of people played and enjoyed on their own as kids and have happy memories of. A bit like Zelda, but on a smaller scale maybe. But I think people did kind of lose their interest in it as a series around this point. I've also heard some worrying things about Level 5 not being interested in releasing games like this in the West anymore, which is really, really sad. But anyhow, this is my first Leighton game. I've now gone back to begin the first Leighton game, but I haven't made it very far. I will make it very far once the mood strikes me, because this was a whole new experience that I really, really liked. It's got 2 whole stars for its comfiness. I believe that comes from the human element. I'm trying to remember why I wrote these. 2 stars for just the comfiness. It is beautiful. Every single time there's a sky, the sky is so pretty. All the environments are so pretty because they kind of gotta be. All you're doing is looking at environments. The characters are really nice, they're very simple, I guess, but they always made me happy whenever I saw them. It was fun seeing them do their things, and I played a lot of this game when I was playing it. I really like the vibe of Leighton Worlds, and I think that's what it comes down to. It just has this nice whimsy to it. It has this nice, comfortable, something. The music it's all very appealing to me in a way I can't put a feeling on, but absolutely one of the comfiest, coziest games of my year for numerous reasons. There's a separate star for just the comfort of playing it. I thought that it was set up very well, the menus were all good, and you spent a lot of time in menus. Navigating puzzles felt really fine, the user interface was really good, which is pretty cool, because I believe they had to port this from the 3DS to the Switch. It was the first console Leighton game, right? They did a good job. Maybe just I didn't know anything different, but I really liked it. The puzzles were just amazing. I really just fundamentally enjoyed doing the puzzles. It tickled a part of me that I didn't know I would enjoy being tickled, that I pretty much only used during exams and SATs. But it was so fun going through and figuring them out. I found my favorite versions and stuff. I like the ones where you move pieces around until all the things line up. But by the end, I wasn't afraid to use hint coins if I needed them. If something was just super abstract. There were some puzzles where it was so obvious that it was asking you to do something boring, that there was probably something fundamental you were missing, and then once you realize that, it's oh, you don't have to actually do algebra, the clock's not even on. And that got tiring, but no, at the end I was the most motivated that I had ever been. I was super engaged by the puzzles, I loved the characters, I liked seeing it all happen, and I'm just excited to see how I like the rest of the games. I think this could be one of my favorite series, even though I don't know much about it. It was one of the coolest new things of the year, and I think 2021 will have a lot of more of them. Oh my god, did I skip a game? I skipped a game! I mixed up the order! Oh my god, I mixed up 5 and 6. Oh, well I guess that's actually not the worst thing, because I was kind of going back and forth on which order this is. The game that has stolen 5th is Undertale. I cannot believe that I have Ocarina of Time and Undertale on this list. Both of these games were brand new experiences this year. Some of the biggest games in fuck shit ever. and I got to experience them pretty much entirely on my own as an adult. I am 22, and I just played Undertale for the first time, and it was so crazy. This was just amazing. My friends and I here at the apartment, we're all really big gamers, we talk a lot. We're all at a similar place of being really tired of RPGs. We're just really tired of how serious everybody is about them. And what Undertale really taught me is I was just mad that I got into RPGs for like the human element. I got into them for like, you know, loving my Pokemon, or loving the world of Dragon Quest IX, or loving the characters of Fire Emblem Awakening. And then some prick on the internet told me that I liked them because of gameplay. He's like, oh, you'll like every other JRPG because you like that one. Go and play Rune Dragon. And then I play Rune Dragon, and it's like, yeah, I guess I enjoy this in some way, but I'm just at a point where I'm like, why do I have so many RPGs that I'm not interested in? It's because I was interested in the human element, and Undertale invented the human element star for me. It is a 1.5 stars. It might get 2, I don't really know. I ended up giving it 3 stars. The 3 stars are the human element, which is that every single text box in this 7-hour game makes you feel something. It's either intentionally subverting something about the genre, or it's just objectively funny and witty because I find it funny and witty. I'm very much on the same wavelength with these games. Or it's just, I don't know, warm? It's just every single thing that it does made me feel something. And I watched my friend play Deltarune, which seems like it is of great interest to me, and I was just blown away with how much like the first shopkeeper interaction was like fresh. It was interesting. I was interested in knowing about all of the weapons and that I was being sold, and it made me realize RPGs were made for tabletop roleplay. RPG games in the actual like literal sense were made for friends to tell stories and enjoy being with each other and have emotional experiences, more or less. And I'm like, how did I forget that? How did I forget that every sword I find in an RPG should be interesting to me? Not just like, oh, I got a steel sword. I personally don't find RPGs objectively interesting. I think they're just cool venues for telling stories, and Undertale and Deltarune really reminded me of this. Deltarune Chapter 1 isn't on here. I don't really think it's like complete or anything. I'm looking forward to playing it on my own next year. I saw pretty much all of it these last few days. I was watching my friends play it, and I think it's pretty two sides of the same coin from my appreciation of Undertale. I think I'm in like Deltarune an awful lot more, even though I don't really have much desire to play RPGs right now. Because Undertale is very heavy, which I'll probably talk about. But yeah, the other stars come from the puzzly stuff. The boss battles were really engaging. The act system of like figuring out an enemy's wants and needs instead of beating the crap out of it. I just found that really engaging. And then I really liked the bullet hell, the dodging puzzle minigame things. I'd never done them before, but I liked them more than I expected to. It kept me engaged in a really tactile way. And I like seeing all of the real-time sort of dodging obstacles in a sort of bullet hell way that I've seen incorporated into the overworld of Deltarune. I think that'll do a lot to make me like Deltarune more. And then just, Comfort Star. It just, the UI was always sharp. The music was really nice. The characters were all friendly, so kind of bleeding off of the human element. It was just a very comfortable game to play. Very high quality and tight. The one thing about Undertale that I've kind of been grappling with is I got hit by I think all 3 of the most disturbing things from Undertale in a row on Saturday, and I took like psychic damage. I'm still parsing it, and the end of Deltarune is also really creepy, and I don't do great with creepy. I am glad if Undertale and one other very special game on this list are like my one games that verge into the sort of paranormal and disturbing and surreal and stuff, because I have so much love and trust for Toby Fox as a designer and Temmie Chang as a co-designer and artist. I actually really admire her. I loved everything that she directly contributed to this, and I'm excited to play her visual novels next year, but I think Toby, and I guess by extension everybody on the team, have a great connection to emotions, and that's what makes everything so resonant, but also a great ability to use disturbing emotions, but to solve something. I don't like creepiness for creepiness' sake. I talked about that with Hollow Knight, but despite going to really disturbing places, I do think that Undertale and Deltarune lead me to someplace nice. I spent a lot of time today thinking about what they meant by a lot of different things, and I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty cool when I think about it, and I can't say that about like much horror and stuff that I've been exposed to, so, I know about stuff like the genocide around that are horror, but doing true pacifist run and a normal run of Deltarune, I don't think they're scary games. It's just that I've had to think more about, like, ooh, stuff's creepy, but I think it's to achieve a very cool storytelling purpose. It's just sort of the first time I've had to really think about that directly, so, that's a pretty big part of my experience with Undertale and Deltarune this week. Whole lot of creepy stuff. Alright. Big dog's coming out now. Make sure I don't miss anybody. Hold on for a second. I'm gonna figure this out. That went. Four. Where's three? 3, 2. So there's no 5? Yeah, because Country was 5. Undertale was 5. Okay. Here we go. Are you ready? Animal Crossing New Horizons. Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's right here. Animal Crossing New Horizons. Animal Crossing New Horizons is number 4. This is such a good game to me. I don't think any game is more emblematic of 2020 objectively. Like, I just think it is such a funny thing that it was such a phenomenon this year. And I won't talk too much about the public's reception of New Horizons because I really want to talk about my own. Because that's why you're here. And because I could talk a lot about different things, talking about how people have been talking about New Horizons. But I love New Horizons. It is a 4.5-star game, I think. Because it just does so many things I like so well. The jury is still out on whether I think it is the most beautiful game in the world, in my opinion, because it is this and Wind Waker HD that I think are just the most beautiful games in the world to me. This comes from the star that I gave for assets, for villagers, clothes, items. They're just all so well made. And I was blown away this season by alternates for like the Halloween stuff especially, and some of the fall stuff, and how much care went into making them all like distinctively different, in addition to being really high quality assets. I honestly asked recently, like, can anybody point me to a game that has more HD assets than New Horizons? Because they put so much work into making every single thing meet such a high bar of quality that it is just a lush game, from the plants to the everything. It just looks amazing. There's a separate 1.5 for comfort. It's just so comfy. The sky isn't quite as uniquely appealing as I think the New Leaf and City Folk sky was, but the way that the world is framed is really important in bringing out the comfort to me. The clouds and stuff, sometimes the mist elements, the sky, and the lighting is so important. So it's not the sky being pretty so much as having moments where like trees and bugs and fishes and not really that actually. Trees and flowers and grass and villagers and sky and rocks all kind of come together in this nice layered look, and I'm just like, wow, I can't believe I'm looking at this. I totally understand. One of my biggest critiques is not being brave enough to move towards a totally free camera. I love that there are moments where you get a free camera, and I do understand the crew's hesitation to go and change how the overworld looks, because having a free camera would change how the game looks. And I understand some things weren't prepared to be seen in all 360 degrees. It would really help me get a lot more out of it, but where I think kind of makes up for the lack of moving to total camera freedom is villager conversations are framed in the most beautiful way to me. The way that it zooms in on them will make these moments that are just like paintings. Just the way that it zooms in will sometimes capture just like the perfect amount of river and the perfect amount of flowers and the perfect just little moment. I'm like, wow, this is astoundingly beautiful. So there's really that. Then it gets a whole star just for the human element. This partially comes from the villager animations. The villagers having little things that they can do, like singing and sitting, really does a lot for me. I totally understand the critiques of saying that this dialogue is like, makes it hard to connect with the villagers, because there's a lot of repeated stuff, like, having to get through all the villagers commenting on your clothes, and then the visitors, and then your other villager, and then the thing you're carrying. You can get a lot of the same stuff, and I have had up to 5 of the same type of villager at a time before, so I've definitely gotten a lot of repeated dialogue, but I think that there's still a nice element of progression that they incorporated into this game where it feels like I'm getting closer with the villagers, and I will say that I don't see them as moving towards totally being aesthetic, because although it is a visual thing, I think giving them little tasks they can do, like yoga, singing, sitting, observing a flower with a notebook, like that does a ton for me, maybe because of my imagination. I just see it and I'm like, oh my god, like, that's her spot. That's where she likes to sing. I'm to see her there every day. Or like, oh my god, I can't believe the new girl's getting comfy by the river. She's there every day. It must be her little spot. Like, it's just amazing. It just does so much to make my town feel alive, and I think that's super valuable. And then finally, this is my most contentious star, is I really like collecting materials. I don't entirely love the crafting system. It's okay. Sometimes it can be a really stressful way to leak out new ingredients, new recipes for seasonal stuff, but it can be a nice motivating thing. I'm on and off about it. And of course, having your weapons, having your tools break is, it can take the wind out of your sails a bit, but I simply adore hitting trees. I simply adore hitting them with axes and seeing the trunk, and now hearing the trunk, and then seeing the little nice shaped log jump out. I just think it is so satisfying. And this fall, there's been so many things like acorns and pine cones, and now jank ornaments that I can shake out of trees. I love shaking things out of trees. Not only is it satisfying, but it also makes the island feel more like something I can tap into, I think having every tree be something that I can interact with is good, because I'm not, I didn't used to really shake trees much in other games. I didn't really care about the 100 gold. I didn't usually get my daily furniture from it, and I didn't really want to get stung by bees, but they've done a great job of putting you in touch with the world by making you really want to tap all the stuff like rocks and trees and stuff every day. I'm not at the point that I was at the beginning of the game where I was min-maxing and trying to get all the materials that I could. Now what I actually do is I just don't carry much on me at all, and it's been fundamental for changing the experience. I threw out all of my stashes of resources. I don't have a full rotation of tools on me at any given time, and what I do is I pace my play sessions by saying oh, I wanna fish. Is there a fishing rod around? Sometimes I'll leave one out because it looks cute when there's a fishing rod around, and I'll grab it and I'll fish for a bit, or if not, I'll shake some branches down, or if I'm hey, I want to make some money, I'll start the cycle, I'll grab some sticks, grab a stone, make my axe, get some wood. If I want to do a bunch, I'll upgrade my stuff. If not, I'll just, so many days, I just make a flimsy fishing rod and a flimsy axe and a flimsy shovel if I want to move flowers. I don't dig fossils anymore, really. I just, I get all of my tool use satisfaction out of making new things till they break, I think a flimsy fishing rod is a great way to pace yourself with your fish, and I realize that's very self-imposed, but for me it just feels like I'm in rhythm with the game. I'm not upset when my stuff breaks, I just move on, I do something different, and I know that can sound very moralizing, and there's a lot of drama about Animal Crossing playstyle, but I will say that I just love gathering resources for how it feels. It just feels so good to me, and I know that they wanted it to feel good. I really value the game feel of Animal Crossing. I can talk a lot. Alright. Drum roll, please. Next, we are going to bring you the third favorite game. This was my number one favorite game the last time I made a list of all time. It's not anymore, because things change a lot. Number 3, Link's Awakening Remake. This was one of the top 3 most impressive games I played this year. This was my first major 2D Zelda. I'm pretty it went from 4 Swords right to this. This game is legendary to me. This game has limitless potential. I've only played it once. I need to go back to it, then I'll know how much I truly feel about it, but oh my god, this game just really was a magical experience the first time I played it. Not knowing what was going on, it just came at a great time and is really comfortable. But it's a difficult task to go back and pick out what I like, that I think the star system has really helped me with, and what I will say is that it has pretty limitless potential. If I were to have more than 5 stars to give games on Backloggery, it would really just be an uncap for games like these top 3 games, so they could just climb as high and high as they want, because they are soaring past 5 stars. 2 stars for item progression. This was the game that put me in touch with how much I loved getting items. It is just such a fundamental thing. The game is paced great where it's man, I want to jump. Oh my god, I can't believe I have the jumping item. Oh man, someday I could lift up rocks. I can't believe I have the rock item. And I totally get how that could be annoying. Those things are fundamental in a lot of Links. a lot of Zeldas. Not jumping, but, I understand that it can be cheap to take away a basic task a basic ability and then give it back to you. But having pretty much every dungeon give you a meaningful new way to interact with the world felt great, and that helped play right into the pick apart world star, where I loved going back and getting heart containers. And secret seashells were fine, but it was really the heart containers, going back for a heart container, walking back to town, getting a thing for the fetch quest. Like, I really spent a lot of time walking around that town, that world. But 2 stars for item progression. There's only one more game that's going to do that, but it is so good getting items in that game. It's super, super comfy. Really cute music. Link controls great. That's actually a separate star. I got the Link star because Link just feels legendary comfy. His sword feels so good. The items feel so good. It's a really, really good Link to control. You don't need me to say it. It's obviously a very comfy and high quality AAA game. And then, yeah, really comfortable. The UI was great, which plays into that. It was comfy aesthetically because they worked so hard to make it comfy aesthetically because it is so beautiful. I guess I wouldn't call it as beautiful as Animal Crossing or Wind Waker HD, but it's really lush. It's really pretty. It is not a slouch. It is right outside that tier. And yeah, I don't have a ton more to say about it. It was highly a specific thing that made me feel a lot, and it's really good, and I might come to like it more. It really informed a lot of the games in this list. My appreciation for them. So, yeah, on its own, it's just a really good Zelda. It's just probably my favorite Zelda game. That and Wind Waker have to fight now with all their replays. I really don't know which is my favorite, even though I'd say I prefer 2D Zelda. I don't know. But yeah, I've said a lot about that game. It's not my favorite game of all time, It might come back to be it. It still has potential, but it was not the most defining thing of this year. But what was? Well, number 2. Hollow Knight. Probably the most defining thing of this year. Not to say there's not another game after it. Hollow Knight was a gaming experience like none other. Like, Link's Awakening got me ready to get blown away by games, and the two of them together did a ton to establish what I like in a game, but Hollow Knight was legendary. I think Hollow Knight really carried what I loved about Link's Awakening, and then made me like Kirby games, and I'll unpack that. But 2 stars for how good it feels to control the vessel. This is a game, it's a Metroidvania. It is the only Metroidvania that I need, because it is just so comfy. It really is like playing Kirby in a hellscape. Just, the vessel is so cute, and he's so fun to control. His sword slashes make me feel right at home because of my history with sword characters in Smash. I loved using the little sword. I loved he had really good aerial attacks for interacting with bosses differently, so combat was really fun. And they have a depth of charms that make controlling him even more fun and customizable, where you could be like, okay, I am gonna dash faster. That's what I always did in the Let's Play. I want a longer sword. You can customize him, and that feeds into the gameplay. So you're exploring the world with a perfect little vessel, who, yes, I did buy my own plushie of. I now have my own Hollow Knight plushie, and I sleep next to her every night. So you've got this adorable vessel. You're exploring the world to make her more powerful, and then she's just more fun to play with. It's basically just an adventure to make her more fun to play with. But that's only 2 of the 6 stars that I gave this game. There's a double star for the pick apart world. This is just such a good world to pick apart. The little gooey, little collectible grub guys were some of the best collectibles I've ever had. They took what the Mai-Mai's had and just went further. It is just so satisfying getting them. They're so cute and they're hidden so well. It's awesome finding new passages forward. Just exploring the world feels great. And that plays into item progression. 2-star item progression. There may not be as much item progression as A Link's Awakening, but the way that they tie the story in with the item progression is just legendary. And you can literally go watch the first season of my Let's Play and see me cry when I get some of these items. Just these amazingly emotional, melancholy moments where you upgrade the way you play the game fundamentally. It is just awesome. I love it so much. And this whole first season was pretty much me getting all the good item progression items. I've gone through and played with a neutral end, and I kind of lost my steam before collecting everything, so I will be back. I'm probably gonna play this game so many times. This is the one where, handshake with Undertale. It took me to an uncomfortable place a few times. I actually would say Hollow Knight feels less creepy to me than Undertale, because Toby Fox is really in touch with emotions, and he really knows how to spook you, He did it to tell a really moralizing game by making the genocide run so goddamn horrifying sounding, but, Undertale spooked me. Hollow Knight just kind of made me uncomfortable. There are some really cool worlds we're going to go to in the second season that, I'm familiar with now. I really went to and did some stuff, but it's kind of like a soft version of a horror movie where it's like not really that haunting. It's just kind of like, oh, you're braving a scary place. There's some downright spooky stuff, but not disturbing. I don't know. The point of all that is I would play this game literally every day if it had a less dark tone, and if it wasn't so much, oh, the relics of the past and the doom of our ancestors, and only you can wield the doom relic and heal your trauma. It's just so heavy and just doesn't really register with me because of that. I liked the vessel enough that it was really fun to pick apart the story, and it's interesting enough, but it really does not get the human element star. The more I play, the more I'll pick it apart and the more I'll find stuff. And there are some great characters for sure, but just if this thing had an emotionally lighter coat of paint on it, it would be my favorite video game. I really think it put me in touch with just like my favorite thing to do in a video game, which is just using this cute little guy, exploring the world, making him stronger. Just the whole feedback of it is incredible. And exploring the world itself is really satisfying. I really like exploring and filling up my map and stuff. There's a lot going on. It's not all about the vessel, but it really misses out by being so heavy and dark. At the moment, I don't have a star for brooding. I just don't. Not yet. Anyhow. The one that has been alluded to more than anything, and caused more of displacement than literally anything. Here it comes. Kirbys Adventure. Kirby and the Fountain of Dreams. Kirby of the Stars and the Fountain of Dreams is how you translate the original Japanese name. I really probably should have given Hollow Knight number 1. It's a lot more substantial, but Kirby's Adventure. Kirby's Adventure. It really did. Hollow Knight and it were an inseparable duo for establishing what I like, and it's just so perfect. Star for controlling Kirby. It's just so fun controlling this stupid little NES blob and putting myself in tight spaces and jumping a whole bunch because it feels good. I love dashing. A lot of his copy abilities feel great. A lot of them feel like nothing. It's actually not the best copy abilities. It was the first game to have them. But I just love controlling that stupid little blob and that stupid little NES chunky game. Not to say that it is not astoundingly gorgeous for being chunky and old. Sar Goes to the Worlds. I couldn't stop myself from talking earlier. I love those worlds so much. There is only one world that's really that mediocre because it just doesn't have much of a strong identity on its own, but they're all so great. Something about the way that they leave it up to your imagination with basic shapes and colors and stuff just made me feel like I could really imagine stuff about it, Butter Building was amazing. It just had the best little song. There should be a star for music, right? Yeah, I gave it a star for music. The Butter Building song is great. Rainbow Resort, whatever it is, has one of the most just memorable and repeatable melodies that I think is in Kirby. It is so dreamy, and it shows up in level 4 too. Orange Ocean is one of the coolest things ever for me. Just like the chunky orange sky. All of it is amazing. The worlds really shine with the overworld. The overworld's actually great. You get to float around and run around a little bit choosing your levels, and they're colored like the themes, and they actually kept that. I think it's pretty much the old chunky art in the overworld and Nightmare and Dreamland because they're so good. This the neon spacey theme in the final level, Orange Ocean, Butter Building, they're all so good. It's just my favorite places to be. Superimpose them on Hollow Knight and I wouldn't play anything else. The bosses were really good. They're not quite as good as Dreamland 2, but it has that famous Kirbys Adventure sequence with the Nightmare, which is really, really fun to play. One of my favorite copy abilities was the Star Rod. I really got good with it. It was super, super satisfying using it against the final boss, and it was very pretty fighting the Bubble. The Bubble is not much against the Dark Matter Swordsman, but really, really fun no matter how you cut it, and beautiful. And then the whole thing gets a nice style star. Just the way everything comes together, I look at it and I'm like, man, you got a distinctive style. Good music, good enemies, just... I realize it's not as exciting as it could have been, but Kirbys Adventure just really was taste-making for me. I played it in July, and I'm like, man, I can't believe I'm playing an NES game. My eyes are hurting. But it was so pretty, and it was so fun, and almost in spite of how old it was was amazing. I think the gameplay holds up the best out of all of Sakurai's Kirby games. It just goes. It's so great and fun. Oh my goodness. I still can't quite explain why I like it so much, but It is just so fun to play again and again. One thing I didn't properly give a star is hitting the buttons is really satisfying. Like, seriously, getting all the little hidden puzzles, which are usually like hidden rooms or stuff, like maybe a puzzle they have to come back to with a copy ability, or like a hidden door in a rock or something that looks like a door. The thing is, you go to these hidden places and there's a big old button. You get to jump on it, and then a new extra level or an extra little bonus thing pops up in the overworld, and it is satisfying like nothing else. It is so satisfying. I know I might just be under the spell of this stupid little game, but I think it is at the heart of what I have discovered about my gaming taste this year. And that is all I can say for number 1. It was just great. I think it made me enjoy Hollow Knight because I realized how much having a nice little avatar to control is, how important that is. And then Hollow Knight helped me appreciate it with just how emotionally light it is and easy to play. Where Hollow Knight feels like a great task to play. But yeah. Okay, yeah, I got excited. I hope you've had a lot of fun. There's my list. Ah, man, these videos are probably going to be rolling out all month, huh? Damn, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope none of the audio got lost. That was a special time talking to you. I have a microphone for ages. I won't forget it. See you later. I hope you enjoyed everything. Some of the things that I'm looking forward to next year are, in the first half, I think I mentioned, of the year, I want to play a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to start my year off with Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. That's just like a nostalgic childhood game and one of Liz's favorites, and it's my only Kingdom Hearts game, so I'm going to try it along with a Kingdom Hearts fan. I have to say I'm becoming much softer about games that are story-driven, thanks to stuff like Undertale, and talking to, fans of Kingdom Hearts and Mystery Dungeon here has been really impactful. I want to get Rescue Team DX for Christmas. That'd be really nice. That'd be a really nice way to start the year, because I am just riding with Mystery Dungeons. I'm going to play Kirby 64, probably in February. I'm really excited to do that. That's my last new mainline Kirby. There's more Kirby spin-offs that I want to play that I haven't played, so it'll be fun. But yeah, seriously. For Zelda, maybe I'll have a 2D phase and I'll play the Oracle games. I don't really know. I really want Silk Song to come out next year. I think Silk Song's going to be lighter than Hollow Knight in my mind emotionally, with like a little bit more varied gameplay and more varied colors, which goes a long way for me from what I've seen. So I see a lot of potential for Silk Song, but we're in its new vessel. I'm a big vessel person. I'm a big little ghost person. Yeah, I would love Skyward Sword Switch port so much. I'd love that for the 35th anniversary. I would really love Galar Mystery Dungeon too, but if worse comes to worse, we've got Rescue Team DX and I'll borrow Skyward Sword or something. I really want to play Skyward Sword in 2021. I've talked about Kid Icarus, but we'll see how much I do with the new story-driven action games. I'm not pushing my taste to their limit, Okay, I gotta send you off, but thank you for listening. This has been a documentary of emotions, and it's been really fun. So I'll take my emotions and go, and get back to work studying Japanese. Have a nice holiday with your family, and bye. I'll see you later. Bye.